So have you ever finished a training session and didn't really feel comfortable with how the training session went? Did you feel that maybe you could have prepared a little bit more? Did you feel that maybe you didn't have answers to questions from your players? Welcome back, coaches, to La Vida Fútbol. My name is Luis Laureano. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel for coaches to get educated and basically a community for us to kind of interact and brainstorm ideas. Today we're going to talk about preparation. So like the video title says, 1 hour of preparation will save you 2 hours of headache. Basically what that means is that 1 hour of preparing before your training session can save you 2 hours of headache during your training session itself. What kind of headaches do I mean, or what am I talking about? Well, what I mean by headaches is things like you getting frustrated because your training session is not going as well as you would have liked. Perhaps organizational issues that you can have during your training session just because you didn't really plan to kind of make things the most effective and most efficient as possible. Or also maybe delays in between exercises. So with things like that, you can prepare before your training session just by organizing your activities. So that's probably the first thing that if you do have time to prepare for your session, that's probably the first thing that you should do, is just choose 3 major exercises that you want to focus on. So the first one is your warm-up, right? Boom. Something that can last anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how long your session is, depending on what you had previously the day before, or if you had nothing before, that can probably change the dynamic of your warm-up section. But yes, try to be different and dynamic as well with your warm-up. So try not to get too repetitive. It's okay to repeat warm-up exercises, but try not to get it to a point where the level of motivation is going down because players expect you to kind of not have any different ideas. So change that up, because that actually happened to me. I actually was doing the FIFA 11 Plus program, and the feedback that I received was that it was kind of sucking their motivation, and it was taking a lot from them, especially when they would come out and kind of see the setup. They were like, okay, this is gonna happen again. Boom, 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 boom. Kind of training session just didn't work out as properly, just because that lack of motivation due to the warm-up. So definitely be dynamic with your warm-up. Kind of make it exciting, kind of builds up and kind of sets the stage really for your training session. Okay, so now transitioning. So this is what I was talking about with the effectiveness of kind of moving from one exercise to the other. Transitions are very important. So if you take time to kind of make that transition effective and efficient, then it can definitely make your training session run much smoother, and it can definitely help with timing. And it's also good that it's also good if you know the next exercise. So I told you to focus on 3 exercises. So the warm-up, you kind of have your main topic of the training session, and then your ending game, which I would recommend that you always end with a game. I think that's a big part of why the players go to training. That ending game is really something that they look forward to. So definitely make sure to implement a game at the end. Okay, so now if you have at least three main activities, then you can definitely have a good idea of how to make that transition. So what I mean is, okay, when you finish with your warm-up, you can already, if you already know what the next activity is, you can already have it ready or set up. But if you don't, then if you know what should go where, then you can definitely get your players involved. And sometimes your players will even ask you like, okay, what do we need to do? What's next? What should we do? Do we need to set anything up? And if you did prepare, then you can definitely get them involved in that helping process. Okay, so definitely do that. that's definitely something that can help you out, and you know, something that you also give part of that responsibility to the players, because all you need to do is give them instruction, and you know, it's up to them to execute that. Good. So at the end, like I said, make sure to have a game set up. Regardless of how many players you have, I think it's always a great idea to finish with a big game. The more realistic, the better. So if you have 18 players show up, 9 versus 9, if you have 2 goalkeepers available to you. But if not, then you can find a way to kind of still add goals or big goals. You know, players just love to shoot at big goals. So you know, kind of get that into you know, implement that into your training session for sure. Okay. So another part of your preparation, or another way that you can prepare for your training session. Okay, so maybe you don't have an hour to prepare for your training session. Another way that you can kind of reduce the time of your preparation is also to kind of reflect at the end of training. Think about what went well, what could go better, what did I learn, and that kind of definitely rolls over to the next training session or even the game, right? If you write down a few notes of what happened during your training session, and that can also help you prepare for the next one. It just gives you a good idea of, you know, what you can focus on, right? So really, 1 hour of preparation is a very long time. If you're kind of, you know, coaching at a recreational level, or at a level where it's maybe not anything more than 3 days out of the week. If you're working with more elite players, you might need perhaps a little bit more than 3 hours, because you're going to have a little bit more to do. For example, looking at video, kind of taking a look at what you could do better, what you can focus on for the training week, and you can pretty much develop a theme for the whole week based on that. But that will take a little bit more time. So for coaches that perhaps don't have too much time to kind of look at film and to kind of, you know, edit the video and you know, you plan to show that to your players, but more so just, you know, you kind of go out week by week, perhaps even day by day, and you kind of try to think of things to do for the training session. You know, you definitely do still want to have a plan. So like I mentioned in the, you know, level of coaching a little bit higher, if you have video to kind of fall back on, you can get a lot of ideas based on that. But if you don't have any videos, then what I would recommend for you to do is to kind of write down a few notes after a game. So this kind of goes into reflection, or even over a training session, and you know, write down some points that you feel could improve for the next training day. So those are things that I would recommend in regards to preparation, because that preparation will definitely be very helpful with how, you know, how good your training session was, right? You really want to do you know, you definitely want to do well with your training session, because essentially for players, performance is, you know, it's on them, right? It's part of our responsibility to get that performance out of them, but we also have that performance of doing well with our sessions. As coaches, that is our performance, right? On the weekend, it's the players who perform, right? We obviously you know, can make decisions and changes and things like that, but at the end of the day, the performance is on that field, and a lot of that is going to be based on what happened during the week. So definitely prepare. Okay, so now I would like to know how long you guys are preparing for your training sessions. So comment that in the comment section below. Let me know what level you're coaching, how long you take to prepare your training session, how long your training sessions are, and yeah, I'd be interested to kind of to compare my timing with your timing, and yeah, things like that. So if you think that this video can help somebody else, feel free to share it with them. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on that notifications bell down at the bottom, just underneath the screen, so that you can get notifications next time that I come out with a video. Well, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.